In the Mediterranean Sea, off the coast of Italy, the X-Men are in close pursuit of their target. Jean Grey scans the ship and detects many frantic and scared civilians, along with Black Tom Cassidy. The villain has been battling X-Men for years, but he hasn't faced this team before. Luckily for him, Cassidy's not here alone. Surprise. It's time for the X-Men to grow up real fast. Angel is able to use his cosmic wings to crash Tom into a ceiling and knock him out, while Iceman attacks Juggernaut. This only makes the unstoppable villain angrier, and he attacks Cyclops. Declaring that this boy killed Xavier, Juggernaut refuses to listen when Cyclops insists that that was somebody else. Somebody he will never become. The villain chases Cyclops around the ship, and the team struggles to hold him back. Beast decides to try something different. Juggernaut might know the X-Men, but he doesn't know them. With that, the fight ends as Juggernaut is pulled through hell and deposited somewhere in Siberia. Cyclops is outraged and begins to argue with Hank, but Beast insists that he did what he did to protect the people on the boat, who are all very glad to have been saved. Hank tersely says that his methods don't matter so long as he gets results. Setting this conflict aside, the team later head out to Madripoor. Cyclops asks Jean if they're doing the right thing here, and she replies that she isn't sure. The mutant race has been given another chance. They're out here, doing good in the world, but Cyclops can't shake the feeling that the team is failing. Jean says that Scott is being pessimistic, as always, but as awkward and as difficult as it's going to be to get used to this, it's time for them to talk to their boss. They report in that Black Tom Cassidy has been taken down, and as ordered, the X-Men did so publicly as superheroes. Magneto is pleased. The X-Men must be ever vigilant. There are threats on all sides. Mutants who have lost their way. So it's the X-Men, the earliest incarnation of Charles Xavier's dream, that will be the ones that make that dream a reality. And he will guide them. Meanwhile, a small town comes into conflict with the deadly Wendigo. One of the survivors is rescued by a mysterious man. Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is my recap and review of X-Men Blue #1. So last week we talked about X-Men Gold. I liked it, but was perfectly willing to acknowledge its problems. Aside from the unfortunate business regarding Arden and Syaf, the writing was clumsy. Someone put in the comments like this: it was written as if it were for children, obvious in its intent and very heavy-handed with certain beats of the story, and the ever-present persecution complex of the mutant race. That all sets the stage for X-Men Blue, which on the whole avoids a lot of those pitfalls. We'll get this right out of the way. X-Men Gold presents itself as back to basics, but I feel it's Blue that really hits that idea on the head. Here we have the core X-Men team working with a powerful mentor to realize Charles Xavier's dream. That's X-Men on a very core level, yet writer Cullen Bunn also shows he's not afraid of bringing out some changes with all this. There are some similar characters, but they've changed by now since they've been pulled through time. The information of the future has put them on an entirely new path. This is most evident in Jean and Cyclops, but we saw that in a really cool way with Beast's magic and even little things like Angel's cosmic wings. I don't know all the detail behind those things because at some point I lost track of all new X-Men. Bendis, I hate to say it, but I'm glad he's gone. Cullen Bunn is an awesome writer, and this is an awesome comic because of it. We had a lot of fun with the Juggernaut. I loved the idea of Magneto being the team's mentor. And there were a lot of really interesting previews of things to come at the end of this comic. First, we get this return of Wolverine Son from the Ultimate Universe, and flashes of an old but familiar team, followed by the Brotherhood, which is really boring to be honest. And finally, this image. Though whether this means the return of Charles Xavier or not is unclear at this time. Really, that could be anything. It could be a memory or a dream or something else. Who knows? I will tell you it was pretty cool seeing Charles go into me, my X-Men at the end of this though, and yeah, I am looking forward to seeing what happens next. The art is pretty good, though it does have a couple of weird panels. The team has a solid interaction with one another, is in conflict, but for understandable reasons, and it was a pretty good start for a new series. It's held back by one important thing. In every panel and preview in this comic, just like in X-Men Gold, it's still quite clear there are still rules in place against creating new mutant characters within Marvel. It's not that big a deal, theoretically. I mean, there are a lot of mutant characters out there already, but this locks in the writers more than you might think. Look, I like the idea of these time-traveling mutants being these recurring enemies of these X-Men, but every time these guys show up, things always get boring. I feel like this is a symptom of the writers being locked into existing characters and content, unable to create new stuff, and, well, things are going to get stale after a while. That's why they keep coming back, or at least that's the only reasoning I can think of. To that end, X-Men Blue #1 is about as good as an X-Men comic can get in the modern era. And while that might be damning Blue with faint praise, I did like it. But there are flaws, and these flaws don't feel small or easily ignored. We get a strong idea of what the series can be in this issue. I do enjoy it. I've enjoyed the dynamics behind the team especially. But yes, there are a few flaws we just can't get away from, especially given Marvel's topsy-turvy relationship with the X-Men these days. It isn't perfect, but it's a good step forward for these X-Men, and I really had fun reading the issue. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you thought of X-Men Blue #1 in the comments section below. And if you like Comic Island, check out our Patreon page to see how you can support us making more videos. Finally, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.